But we begin with Mexican President Enrique Pena Nieto's State of the Union address and the news that Mexico will build a new international airport, increasing its capacity to welcome global travelers by 4 times. For more, we go live to our correspondent in Mexico City, Franc Contreras. Frank, this is the president's second State of the Union address. How does this one compare to last year's?
Yes, Jessica. Well, like anywhere else in the world, Mexico's leader used this opportunity to tout what he calls the major advances his administration has made with just a little less than 2 years in office.
Mexican President Enrique Pena Nieto stood before a carefully selected crowd of politicians, journalists, and business leaders. He used virtually every moment of his second State of the Nation address to explain that Mexico is now on a path toward economic growth.
In July, employment has grown to 3.7%. This and other variables indicate that the Mexican economy is going in the right direction, and it will be even more dynamic in the coming months. Still, we have not reached the levels of growth the country and its people need.
Half an hour before the president's speech, Mexico's central bank released a poll of independent economists who lowered their growth estimate for the 7th consecutive month. They now expect to see Mexico's gross domestic product expanding a mere 2.5% this year. Adriana Isidro works in Mexico's vast informal economy, selling candy and potato chips outside a public elementary school. She earns less than $10 a day.
We have only seen promises because the economy is not doing very well. People all over are complaining about the economy.
President Pena Nieto says a number of sweeping reforms his administration has passed will lift Mexico's economy in the coming years.
We are determined to increase salaries and income of all Mexicans. The reforms will take us in this direction because they elevate and democratize productivity, permitting Mexicans to earn more for their work.
But in order for the president's economic expansion plans to take hold, the country will need to produce more electric energy. Under the current reforms, that industry is also opening up to foreign investors. For now, Mexico finds itself importing more natural gas from the United States, which is being used to increase the generation of electricity.
And Jessica, as you mentioned, Mexico's president also announced that this country will be creating a brand new international airport with the capacity to carry 120 million passengers per year. Now, just to put that in perspective for you, one of the largest airports in the world right now, Atlanta, carries about 94 million, and Mexico City's current airport carries around 30 million. So this is going to be quite an expansion. And of course, previous presidents tried, but they ran into social riots, people wielding machetes because they didn't want to see this happen. It looks like this president was able to pull it off.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see what happens there, Frank. Tell me, though, if there are any other reforms that Pena Nieto would like to see implemented that could also spur the economy.
Yes, there's one more that looks quite important. This one has to do with banking regulations. It turns out that back in 2010, the federal government back then put in place a law that was aimed at trying to prevent money laundering, preventing large numbers of dollars from being deposited into Mexican banks. So now the Pena Nieto administration says it would like to lift those regulations and essentially open the way for more dollars to come in, thus creating more economic flow. And they say, of course, the impact would be felt the greatest on the border between the United States and Mexico.
A lot to watch for us there in Mexico City. Good to have you with us. Franc Contreras reporting live. Thanks so much.